Tonight on CTV, these fish have a brand new ladder to help them navigate the Poudre River just in time for spawning season.
And find out which popular lunch spot is closing in the Laurie Student Center.
Plus, CSU is taking a strong stance against the annual Undie Run. Here's what students think tonight on CTV.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on the last episode of CTV this spring. I'm Marlo Lundak.
And I'm Crist.
As the school year comes to an end, the Associated Students of CSU are under pressure to spend the remaining budget before next year's Senate takes over next week. CTV reporter Ren Wadsworth has all the details on what bills were passed and what bills didn't make the cut.
Senators were faced with a tight budget this week as they decided on what bills to fund with the remaining money. With $235,481 left in the budget and the estimated cost of bills proposed being $424,827, all bills on the table were discussed and debated. A bill to fund solar panels on top of the Laurie Student Center passed in a split vote. It cost almost half of the Senate's budget, but senators argued that student fees should be used to make a better future for all Rams. Others disagreed, saying it's not ASCSU's duty to maintain and update the school's infrastructure. Pocket pantries have been popping up on campus, and a bill passed to help fund a trial period to support the pocket pantries initially created by ASCSU and continue to help students fight food insecurity on campus. The bill asked for $50,000, leaving approximately $85,000 for the remaining bills. The bill to fund Rocky Mountain student media and allow the corporation to buy new equipment failed in the Senate, while the bill for Rockwell development was pulled from the table by the bill's author. A debate pending the bill for supporting students with paid internships and the bill for funding more lecture captures in classrooms concluded with the internships bill failing and the lecture capture bill passing. Ren Wadsworth, CTV, Channel 11.
We have more on the agenda. We have Bill 4840, which is ratified.
Since this is the last week CTV will be covering the ASCSU this semester, you can stay updated on the final Senate session at collegian.com.
Police are investigating a possible shooting that killed a man on Monday night in South Fort Collins. The incident occurred on Verbena Way about 10 in the evening on Monday. While the incident was reported as a shooting, according to the Coloradoan, police cannot confirm if the man suffered gunshot wounds or provide details on how he was injured. The man's identity and official cause of death will be released by the Larimer County Coroner's Office at a later time.
What happens to the human body when in outer space is relatively unknown, but CSU professor Susan Bailey of the Environmental and Radiological Health Science Department is working with NASA to find out. Bailey and her team are one of 10 groups across the country chosen to work with NASA on the Twin Study, which focuses on two twin astronauts, Scott and Mark Kelly. The Kelly twins were studied during the course of a year, while Scott was at the International Space Station and Mark was here on Earth. Bailey and her team received samples of blood from the twins through NASA to study the functions of genes and molecules with a direct focus on telomeres.
Yeah, so the telomeres are just the ends of our chromosomes, and they're repetitive DNA sequence that really serve to cap the end, so they prevent them from fraying. We got samples before, during, and after the one-year mission from both Mark and Scott Kelly, and then did the comparisons, you know, what changed during spaceflight. Because since we had a genetically matched individual on Earth, we could then attribute any of the spaceflight specific things really to spaceflight. It wasn't individual variation between the two. So there were a lot of things that changed for Scott during the time he was in space. Lots of changes in gene expression, lots of changes in his microbiome, all the different kinds of studies that they did. The really encouraging thing is that most of them went back to fairly close to normal within the 6 months that we monitored them after they came back. The really surprising thing is that we saw exactly the opposite of what we imagined. Scott's telomeres were actually longer in space at every single time point that we had, which was completely opposite of what we thought. And we're still scratching our heads on that one. What does that mean?
Bailey says it was a relief to finally get their first paper on the study out, but they're beyond excited to keep the research going. For more information on this story, you can visit collegian.com.
It's almost spawning season. To help these fish find the right place, a collaborative effort has been made to give these fish more access to the Poudre River.
The
Poudre River is taking a step up with the installation of a new fish ladder. The fish ladder is where the Watson Lake Dam and the Poudre River diversion meet, allowing fish to travel further up or down in the Poudre River.
Yeah, they're strong enough to swim against that current. So yeah, they kind of just work their way up. They naturally just find those places where they can get back upriver.
Before this ladder, the fish weren't able to jump over the dam wall, which limits their options for feeding, spawning, or resting grounds. And it's being used to test its effectiveness.
So they have fish tagged to see how they're moving up the ladder. And once they collect all that data, then, hopefully they're planning to build maybe possibly 16.
This project opened yesterday and was over $850,000. It was a collaboration effort between multiple organizations.
Really looking towards the future and really hopeful for the future of what we could do on the Poudre as far as, having these diversions throughout the river so the fish, can really swim freely throughout a lot of mud.
While I was out filming this fish ladder, I met an avid Poudre River fisherman who told me that he's so excited to see this fish ladder, since every October when he's out fishing, he sees the fish try to jump over that dam wall and they fall back down.
Despite the crowded sea of presidential candidates, another Colorado politician is jumping into the water. Democratic Senator Michael Bennet announced he's running for president in 2020 on CBS this morning. He's focusing on economic mobility and restoring integrity in the government. Bennet served the last 10 years in the Senate, and before that was the superintendent of the Denver Public School District. He's gone public about his prostate cancer diagnosis and recently told The Hill that he is cancer-free after having surgery. Bennet is just one of many people running for president in 2020, along with former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper.
Now, Marlo, I know you weren't here last week, but me and Bella were talking about bugs this summer and how we are not excited for that increase of insects over the summer.
No, that's right. But you know what insects are good? Bees. Bees are really important for the environment. They make our food, flowers, and plants that provide oxygen and medicine. But they're actually going extinct. So, Litos, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on?
You betcha, Marlo. Well, now most of us have probably seen the bee movie or have been catching on to the hashtag of Save the Bees. But in case you didn't know, bees have a huge impact on the environment. So much so that Colorado State has been working on with their own bees on campus since 2017. CSU's goal is to make the campus more pollinator friendly. This includes planting pollinator gardens on campus. What they are looking to improve on right now is getting the bees to survive through the winter, as there are a couple hives at a Durrell fire escape that didn't survive the cold temperatures of this past winter. CSU is bringing about 5,000 bees from Europe that are expected to arrive later this May. Some will be placed at the Horticulture Center and some at the Durrell hives, but they will relocate the Durrell hives next winter to avoid the same problem. And if all goes according to plan, we can expect that the new population of 5,000 bees can increase to 25,000. But we'll have to see how it goes. Back to you, Ryan and Marlo.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, up to 25,000 bees? That's awesome.
That's a lot of bees. I'm going to be really excited to see kind of their impact on campus.
Me too. I know one impact they have. They sting people. I got stung by a bee earlier today in my arm.
Really?
And sadly, he didn't survive my freak out. So, but bees are very important to the environment, and that is really cool what CSU is doing to keep them thriving.
I'm so excited that we're getting that many new bees on campus.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, it's been a staple of the Laurie Student Center for more than 20 years, but now it's time to say goodbye to Carl's Jr. According to the Director of Business Services, Robert Peters, Carl's Jr.'s LSC location will be closing after classes end for the semester. He says the Student Center has always had a great relationship with the restaurant chain, but when the time came to renegotiate the contract, the company decided not to renew their lease.
You know, we're looking for input from the Laurie Student Center Governing Board, from students in the food court, our student staff. We have about 400 students on staff here in the Student Center. So we're trying to gather as much information as quickly as we can.
If you want to see your favorite restaurant move in, you can add suggestions to the wall next to Carl's Jr. I think I'll be suggesting Chick-fil-A, which would be great to have on campus.
Absolutely. Colorado State's Infectious Disease Research Center, located at the Foothills campus, was named the 2019 Bioscience and Medical Manufacturer of the Year on April 4th at an awards presentation in Denver. The award was sponsored by the National Institute of Standards and Technology's Manufacturing Extension Partnership, which, according to the Associate Director of IDRC, aims to support the manufacturing and production of materials that are valuable to the public across the country. Raymond Goodrich, the Executive Director of the IDRC, says the center aims to solve problems relating to diseases in humans and animals, and the center is currently developing vaccines for HIV and typhoid fever. For more information on the IDRC and what they do, you can visit research.colostate.edu.
Well, Marlo, since we're at the end of our show, I have to ask, what are your summer plans, since that's right around the corner?
Yeah, I'm graduating. Sadly, I don't have a job yet, but I know it's coming up. I'm keeping my hopes high. Right now, I'm planning on going back home with my parents, save a little money, eat some of my mom's good food.
Oh, that'll be great.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. What about you, Ryan?
Nice. Well, yeah, I'll be back next semester. So for now, over the summer, I'll be getting a nice internship, potentially with Altitude Sports. So I'm hopefully excited about that. I'll be
Fantastic.
starting up soon.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Well, thank you.
Don't go anywhere yet. Litos Castro has your weekend weather forecast after the break.